Can someone destined for a short life live much longer? Let me share two stories from the Shiva Purana that explore this question. These tales reveal how complete trust and surrender to Lord Shiva not only extended the lifespans of two historical figures but also blessed them with boons so powerful that their legends are still remembered today. So, here is the first story. This is of Markandeya Rishi. Once there was a poor Brahmin named Mrikandu who was childless. Desiring a son, he and his wife prayed fervently to Lord Shiva. Moved by their devotion, Shiva appeared to them in a dream and asked, "Would you prefer a child who's brilliant in every way but destined to die at the age of 16, or a long-lived fool?" After much consideration, the couple chose the noble child. In time, a baby boy was born to them, and he was indeed extraordinary. His brilliance and charm filled everyone who met him with wonder and delight. However, as the boy grew older, he began to notice his parents' constant anxiety and overprotectiveness. Unable to understand why they were so fearful, he finally asked them about their unusual behavior. Reluctantly, they told him the truth about his fate. The boy listened calmly and then said, "Lord Shiva is the cause of both mortality and immortality. Did not he grant your desire for a son? Can he not also grant me the boon of immortality if we pray to him?" His parents were astonished by his faith and wisdom. Inspired by his determination, they encouraged him to worship the Shivaling daily in the modest temple, placing all their hopes in his unwavering devotion. The boy faithfully performed the worship of Shivaling every day, following all the prescribed rituals with unwavering devotion. At last, the day of his 16th birthday arrived, the day his parents had dreaded for years. Anxiety gripped them as they watched over him, unable to bear the thought of losing him. Yet the boy himself remained calm and untroubled, trusting fully in Lord Shiva's protection. That morning, he went to the family temple as usual, his anxious parents following close behind. Suddenly, he saw a terrifying figure striding towards him. Yam, the Lord of Death, holding his noose ready to fulfill destiny's decree. Without a moment's hesitation, the boy ran towards the Shivaling. Miraculously, with each step he took, a new Shivaling sprouted from the ground, forming a protective barrier that blocked Yam's path. Reaching the temple, the boy threw himself at the base of the ling, wrapping his arms tightly around it. But Yam was relentless. He swung his noose, and because the boy was clinging to the linga, the noose encircled both the child and the sacred stone. In that moment of terror, the boy cried out, "Oh Shambhu, save me, I am alone and helpless." In an instant, the Shivling split open, and Lord Shiva emerged in all his divine glory. His eyes burnt with compassion and power as he spoke. "Fear not, my child. I will not allow death to take you away." Turning to Yam, Lord Shiva's voice grew stern. "O Yam, you have come to do your duty, for the boy was indeed destined for a short life, but I now take over his destiny. Return to your abode. Your work here is done." Yam, recognizing the Supreme Lord's authority, bowed deeply and said, "O Lord, you are the master of life and death, the creator, preserver, and destroyer. I have no will but to obey your command." With that, Yama vanished, leaving the boy trembling yet unharmed. Shiva gently lifted the boy, who was still clutching the linga with his eyes tightly shut. "Open your eyes, my child," Shiva asked kindly. "Your faith and devotion have saved you. Death itself is powerless before my devotee. I grant you a boon. You shall live for the entire duration of this Manamantra, a cycle of creation, never aging, and shall be celebrated as a great sage. You will reside in the Himalayas at Badrik Ashram, performing tapasya, austerities until the end of this cycle of time, when you will merge with the formless essence of the Supreme." With these words, Lord Shiva blessed the boy and disappeared. Overcome with gratitude and awe, the boy, who came to be known as Markandeya, realized the true purpose of life: to meditate upon the Supreme Lord. After spending some time with his loving parents, he journeyed to the Himalayas, where he devoted himself to deep contemplation and austerities, becoming one of the greatest sages of all time. And thus, by the grace of Lord Shiva, Markandeya not only escaped death, but also achieved eternal fame and spiritual immortality. Let me tell you the next story of Agnishwara. On the banks of the river Narmada lay the beautiful city of Dharmapur. In this city lived a pious Brahmin named Vishwanar with his wife Suchismati. Both were devoted worshippers of Lord Shiva, and they yearned for a child. Day and night they prayed to Shiva, pleading for the blessing of a son. In their prayers, they begged that Shiva himself would be born as their child. Moved by their devotion, Lord Shiva agreed, and in due time a son was born to them. They named him Grahapati. From an early age, Grahapati showed remarkable intelligence and devotion. His bright face and cheerful nature filled the household with joy, and the couple felt truly blessed. However, when Grahapati was 11 years old, the celestial sage Narad visited their home. Curious to learn about their son's future, Vishwanar asked Narad to read the boy's palm. Narad examined the child's hand carefully, his face growing serious. After a long pause, he looked at the anxious parents and said, "This child is destined for greatness, but his life is marked by a grave danger. In 1 year's time, he is fated to face a terrible calamity, death by fire." The words struck fear into the hearts of Vishwanar and Suchismati. How could this be? The son was a gift from the Lord Shiva himself. Yet Narad's predictions were never wrong. With heavy hearts, they wondered how they could possibly protect their beloved son from this cruel destiny. The parents were devastated by Narad's prophecy. How could they bear to lose their precious son? Yet, when young Grahapati learned the cause of their sorrow, he displayed wisdom beyond his years. "Do not grieve, mother and father," he said gently. "Lord Shiva is the master of destiny. I will worship him and seek his protection. He alone can save me from this doom." With his mind set on divine intervention, Grahapati took leave of his parents. He journeyed into the holy city of Kashi, now known as Varanasi, a place beloved by Lord Shiva. It was said that whoever worshipped Shiva there would be freed from all calamities. Upon arriving, he bathed in the sacred waters of Manikarnika Ghat, purifying himself before entering deep devotion. Every day for a full year, Grahapati worshipped the Shivling with unshakable faith and sincerity. He chanted sacred hymns, offered flowers, and meditated for hours, pouring his heart into each prayer. Finally, the fateful day foretold by Narad arrived, the day when death by fire was destined to strike. Just as the sun reached its zenith, Indra, the king of gods, appeared before Grahapati in a flash of golden light. With a voice that resonated like thunder, Indra spoke. O child of great faith, I am pleased with your devotion. Ask for any boon, and it shall be yours. Unaware of the true nature of this visitor, Grahapati looked up in surprise, his hands still folded in prayer. But he remained calm, trusting that his devotion to Lord Shiva would protect him no matter what came next. So Grahapati remained steadfast. With unshakable faith, he replied, I am a devotee of Lord Shiva. I seek no boon from anyone but him. Indra's face darkened with anger. How dare this mere boy reject his offer? In a fit of fury, Indra raised his mighty thunderbolt, ready to strike Grahapati down. The skies rumbled and the earth trembled as lightning cracked around the weapon. Seeing death approach, Grahapati did not flinch. Instead, he raised his arms in surrender and cried out, O Lord Shiva, protector of the helpless, save me! In that instant, the heavens roared, and a dazzling light burst forth from the Shivaling. Lord Shiva himself appeared, his form radiant and majestic, his eyes filled with love and compassion. With a single glance, he stopped Indra in his tracks. O child, do not fear, Shiva said, his voice soothing and powerful. It was I who came before you in the form of Indra, merely to test your faith. You have proven your unwavering devotion, and no harm shall come to you. Not Indra, not his thunderbolt, nor even death itself can touch my true devotee. Shiva then placed his hand on Grahapati's head and blessed him, saying, From this day forth, you shall be known as Agnishwara, the Lord of Fire. You will be the guardian of the southeast, and those who worship you shall be protected from fire, lightning, and untimely death. For fire itself is but another form of Shiva, the manifestation of his third eye that sees through illusion and destroys ignorance. With these words, Lord Shiva vanished, leaving Ganpati filled with divine strength and wisdom. From that day on, he was revered as Agnishwar, the guardian who protects devotees from the perils of fire and lightning. His story inspiring generations with the power of unwavering faith and devotion. Om Namah Shivaya.